Just getting started or feeling stuck? Wherever you're at, the VO Dojo is here to help you take your voiceover career all the way. Get the training, support, and connection you need to guide you every step of the way from I don't know to working pro. You get a rock-solid foundation and all the tools you need for your sustained, successful voiceover career. Mindset, skill set, and real-world experience, all in a hands-on, hearts-in, supportive community. Join us at thevodojo.com.
All right, so here we are. Welcome to the spring version of you should know, what is this? It's Get to Know VO Demo Listen Derby. Hey everybody, I'm Tish Hicks. I'm the Master Sensei of the VO Dojo here in Burbank, California, and I am joined by Brittany Cox and Ryan Ricks of Next Level Voice Demos, who is our demo producer, and Kelsey V on the drums in Dallas. She's here moderating for us. So this is a thing that we do twice a year. That is basically designed to demystify, deepen your understanding, open your awareness of what a demo is, how does it work, how do people listen to it, how does it serve you. So basically, what we do, we call it the Demo Listen Derby because thank you to everyone who has sent in demos for us to listen to. We are going to basically have a first round where we listen down. I'll share in a second what we call the Gauntlet. It's kind of a daunting word, but there's Bev. Awesome, good. Back of my mind is, where's Bev? It's kind of a daunting word, and in some ways, when we can think about our demos, if we have made them. If we haven't made them yet, it's very daunting, right? Because we haven't crossed the threshold. We don't know what it is, and it must embody every particle of our very soul that we would be bringing forth to start our voiceover career. And we all feel like that. We all feel that about our first demo. And then we do it for a while, and we recognize that just like we get our haircut or we get our headshots redone or you buy new clothes sometimes, our demo evolves with us, right? So we want this to be an empowering experience. We are not here to judge or discourage in any way, shape, or form. We're here to share to lay out what our understanding of what happens in the process of demos being listened to, and share our opinion about our insights from our perspective. So so we'll do an audition. We'll listen through the auditions, and actually I think what I'll do is have Brittany and Ryan introduce themselves, and then Ryan, I think you have a really good way of articulating what we do in the process, and then I'll share the Gauntlet, and then we'll get started. So Brittany and Ryan, welcome.
Hi,
Hello.
everybody. Tish, thanks for having us. You know, I feel like we've been doing this for decades at this point, and we're all little pros doing
It's
this.
getting close, yeah.
Right? And I feel like we've inspired so many other people to do demo derbies as well. OG. But hi, everybody. Thanks so much for being here and spending your Wednesday morning or early afternoon with us. I'm Brittany Cox. I am a voice actor and voice director. I work as a voice actor. I work predominantly in commercial, video game, and animation. And as a voice director, I voice direct video games and anime. I've done a million things. So you've probably heard me on some commercial at some point. And this is my lovely husband, Ryan.
Hello, thanks again for being here. And I am the technical aspect of Next Level Voice Demos.
Yeah.
And so I'm a post-production audio engineer and also a music composer. So I do a lot of dialogue editing for film and TV. I also write a lot of music that gets placed on TV as well. Besides all that stuff, you know, what's pertinent for our conversations today is before I, jumped into the deep end with engineering and editing and sound design and music and all of that kind of stuff and mixing, I worked in a casting office. And so I was the guy who was listening to the demos and interfacing with them on a regular basis and having the dialogue back and forth with the different talent agents and things like that. And so a lot of that experience we're going to talk about today and like give you some insight into what that looks like, how that feels, you know, when your demo goes out into the void, you know, what kind of people are listening to it, how it's getting listened to, and all of that good stuff. Because, you know, at the end of the day, I think one of the big takeaways we want you to have today is that, as strange as it sounds, your demo is not for you. You know, your demo is for opening doors for you. It's a tool to open doors for you, you know? And so in that regard, we can kind of take some of the pressure off of needing it to be all things to all people. And instead it's like, okay, well, which doors do I want it to open? Yeah. How do I want it to present me in that way as a tool that I can refine and change and ebb and flow and all of these things as necessary?
And the great thing about a demo is the demo is to serve you in opening specific doors based on your goals and what you do and what you want. So just like there's no one way to get into voiceover, there's no one perfect demo. There's no formula. I know a lot of people come in with questions about like, okay, so what's the formula? How do I create the perfect demo I check off all these boxes?
Like, how long should the spots be?
Okay,
how many?
I need a car spot and a makeup spot. There is no formula. So today we hope that you'll walk away demystified about that and kind of really lean into what your goals are, what you want to do, what doors you want your demo to open, and then hearing some actionable things that you can walk away with to listen to your demo with.
Yeah. And I think we have a nice blend of people on the call with us, people who are signed up and might listen later, and a good number of people that have sent demos in both commercial and animation, that we should be able to listen through most of them. And if not, or if you want more feedback, because we'll talk about how we're going to run through the gauntlet, we both Brittany and Ryan and me I am available afterwards to you can set up time on our calendars to get more feedback, to talk more in depth about whatever came up here. So we're not just going to go like blah 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 blah. We're here to have a complete experience with you. So if for some reason the way that we're going to do this is well, I'll show you the gauntlet in a second. So if you don't get as much hands-on feedback here, don't worry, we're all available to spend more time and answer and explore more questions if you have it. So that's the first thing. When we used to do this, people would come and be so bunched and like, ah, it's like, hey, it's okay, man. It's all right.
It's a safe space. Yeah. We'll if not today, you will get all your questions answered. Yeah. And that brings up also another good point. We will say this throughout the whole workshop today. When we are listening to demos and going through the gauntlet and listening and giving feedback and stuff, all of our feedback is coming based on all of our collective experience. Thank you. With that being said, if your demo is getting you the audition opportunities that you want, the quality and the quantity, it's working. That is the mark of a demo that is working. If it's not, if you want to open up more opportunities, or if you haven't been able to get an agent yet or get into some rooms that you want to be in, what we talk about today are some things to consider and to look at. And we all are coming with like wanting to be helpful and so much love. So take that as you will.
Yeah. And I think also listening to demos is a practice that we all we all can hone. We all can continue to hone. Oh, that is, I enjoyed that. I enjoyed that demo. What was it about it? It's a practice that we can all tune into. So, good. Might be cool. Might be cool to have you guys in the chat say where you're at in relationship to your demo. Like, haven't done my demo, doing my first demo, have this and this. My demo's not working for me. I love my demo. I just wanted people to admire it, which is totally valuable. So, okay. And while people are doing that, I'm going to bring up the Gauntlet, and then we can talk about the process of round 1 and round 2 and what we're doing. So,
well, while you're doing that, I'll jump in and kind of set the stage for all of those things on the Gauntlet and stuff. And so I think it's, today, one of the big things that we really want to show you is, like, when you send your, after you've made a demo, you've decided that, what type of demo you want to make, and that you're sending it out to the void, right, in order to book a certain type of work, right? Like, what happens once that demo is out there, right? And so the typical process when it comes to casting is, if we're not getting auditions, we're listening to demos, and we get demos based on a certain brief for a particular type of job, right? And so my job in the casting office was to say, like, okay, we have this. We never worked with them, so it's a great example. Like Neutrogena, that's a great, whatever. Neutrogena is our client, and we have this 30-second, TV commercial that they want, and it needs this particular type of voiceover, this type of energy, whatever. And then my job was to reach out to talent agencies and be like, hey, we have this client, blah, 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 blah. We're looking for this type of voice, and then can you send us demos for these things? And these agencies would then send who they feel would be best on their roster. And then I would receive these, emails in bulk, and I would end up with something like 200 demos, for example, for this one 30-second television commercial. And then my job as one individual was to go through all 200 of them and pare them down to our top 5 or 10 that we would then share with the client for them to make their final select for the job. And so in this context, when we're listening to demos back to back to back to back to back, it becomes really apparent where the strengths and weaknesses are in how demos get made and how people's personality shines through in demos that feel like a demo and demos that feel like you just instantly fall in love with somebody, right? And that's really what we're aiming for. And those are the types of things we want to, listen for today. And what we're going to talk about on the Gauntlet is, like, how can we make sure that your demo is one where we just are instantly connecting with your personality, and it doesn't feel like this weird thing that was made in this weird vacuum of time and space, where it just feels like
it doesn't feel real.
It doesn't feel real.
Yeah.
Right. And so when it comes to listening to the demos today, we're kind of going to set up this faux process where, we're going to pretend we have a job. Obviously we don't, we're not casting male, female, or, old, young, or whatever the standard types of things are. But we're going to pretend that all these demos that we've received and listened to are we're going to listen to them as we would listen for a job. And we're going to listen for these things we're going to run down on the Gauntlet in terms of impact, in terms of sound quality, in terms of, does their personality come through? Am I able to connect with them on a human to human level? What is their energy like? Do I feel like I can trust them with whatever this particular job is? And what you'll find is, after we go through the Gauntlet and, we'll share it so that you have all these things as kind of little checklists and things, what you'll find is, as we start listening to demos in this context of going demo 1, demo 2, demo 3, whatever, stuff gets really apparent. And it becomes just like if you were listening to music. If you were listening to 100 country songs in a row, you'd easily be like, ooh, not that one. Ooh, not that one. Ooh, no. Ooh, I love this one. This is a great song. Ooh, not that one. Ooh, no. That's not nearly what the other one was. So no, not that one. And we give ourselves these A/B comparisons. And that's kind of what we want to open you up to, because as demo producers, our job is to make sure that your demo can stand up in that context, because that is how your demo is getting used once it goes out to the people who are using it. So as a tool, it really needs to be able to stand up to that kind of environment, for lack of a better word. So let's bring up the Gauntlet page and we'll just chat through these things together. And then after that, we'll get our hands dirty and we'll actually listen to some demos and see how all these things, come at us through the speakers.
Yeah. Okay. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I did something with a button that I was like, oh gosh, I hope it still works. Okay. So let me so we can see everybody and the Gauntlet, because we're here to be together. Okay. All right. So this is what we kind of teasingly, dauntingly say is the Gauntlet, run the Gauntlet. But, every day that we put ourselves out there, we kind of are running the Gauntlet. Like we are in the mix. It is a thing. We need to be ready, and that's what we're doing. So there's a couple of layers that will be of things that we'll be listening to, and then let's see, Kelsey, can we put this PDF? Do you have this PDF to
Yes.
to share in the thing, so you can have it for you here and then for ongoingly? So the first impressions. So, like anything else, there's this first moment that you hear something. So the first impressions of your voice, does it pop? Does it grab me in the first 3 seconds? Does it cut through? Our voices need to be up against sound in commercials, a lot of sound in promo, and there's just a lot of crap going on in the world that we have to cut through. As Ryan was just talking about, connection, does it move me? Is it authentic? Is it true? Likability, do I want to spend more time with you when it's done? And most importantly, you-ness. Do I know you when it's done? And does it share what is uniquely you? Do I get a sense of that? That's really great. I always like to say at the end of the first run through of a demo, if I have the feeling of like, ooh, I would like to do that again, like a roller coaster ride, right? It keeps me with you the whole time, and then at the end you go again. I would like to hear that again. That's a good thing, and nothing has flung us off into space like, ooh, that spot was ooh. Good. Okay, so those are some first impression layers. Then there's middle impression layers, and for Ryan, this might not be a middle impression, but it might be a first impression. But the production quality, sound, the music, the effects, the voice first, right? Competitive skills. Does it sound like something that I'd hear on the air, nationally or regionally, and being able to distinguish those two things. Range, do I have a good sense of all of the facets of your voice and how I might be able to use them? We're listening for contrasts. What is way different? Oh, you can do that and that? Oh, cool. Versatility, can I interpolate what you can do in between? So if you can do this and you can do this, I'll bet you can probably do this, right? That there's some triangulation of what you can also do, even though that might not be in there. And then energy. At the dojo, we have part of our training we call the 𝗧𝗶𝗺�ธ์, which is a gamut, a gradient of intimacy and energy. So how much energy do different spots have different kinds of energies? We talk about which ski hill would you need to ski down to deliver this message. And you want to have a variety. If everything is like, here's this middle thing, here's this middle thing, here's this middle thing. And how do we find that? How do we find that gradient for you? And then the lasting impressions. Is it current? Is it up to date? Is it reflecting the trends and the brands? Do you have stuff? We want to make sure that we don't have the 2019, the 2009 doo-da-doo-da, right? We don't want anything that dates in there. And then is it what is happening now? I find this one really, really important. Humor. Does it make me laugh? Do I get a sense of you're funny? I'm a sucker for that on a demo. Like, oh my God, that made me laugh, and I totally get your sense of humor. Pacing. Do the spots flow at the right rate? Surprise. Is there something you weren't expecting? Or is the cumulative effect something you weren't expecting? The rhythm, we talked about this before. Does it take me on an enjoyable ride? And more importantly, do I want to go on it again? Most importantly, as we were talking about at the beginning, this isn't for you. This is for the people who are buying your voice to buy it. So do I know as a buyer what exactly I can do with your voice? And just having a vibe of you. What's your thing? Who are you? And most importantly, undeniability. Is this demo something that I can't resist? Like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I think Brittany, Ryan, we talked about who's listening and why, and that it's always in a different context and for different purposes, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the Gauntlet. You should have that in the chatty chat. And yeah, let us begin.
Let's dive in.
Okay.
All right, time for another screen share. How exciting.
This time, you guys get to listen along. So this is, we always like to say, as consumers, our ears are more educated than we think, because we are inundated our entire life with ads, with commercials, whether it's on the radio, TV, we hear cartoons, all of that stuff. So as consumers, you know when something doesn't sound right, doesn't feel right. And when you have that feeling, typically that's when people are like, oh, that sounds like a demo. We don't want that. Our goal is authenticity. Just like we want to get to know you as an actor, as a human, as an artist. We don't want anything fake getting in the way. We want everything to feel real and feel true. So keep that in mind as you listen along today.
Yeah. And so we're going to start with the commercial stuff, because commercial is the gateway to all things agencies and things like that. This is kind of, if you were making your first demo, which I saw a lot of people were mentioning in the chat, like this is typically where you want to start because it's the most versatile demo. As a practical example, when I was working at the studio doing casting, for a lot of our video game projects, we would actually start with commercial demos because a lot of video game companies like for the human voicing the characters to have some overlap and some similarities to them so that there's a level of authenticity there.
And to know your baseline.
And to know your baseline, yeah. So commercial demos can serve you beyond just commercially. So all you character actors out there, don't go to sleep. This is important.
Still important.
This is what gets you in the door. So what we're going to do is we're just going to start listening down, and then we are going to treat this first listen through as like more of a rapid fire kind of thing. This is what I would do in the way I was taught to listen to demos in the casting office, was where I would listen to a little blip in the beginning, skip into the middle somewhere, listen to another little blip, skip to the end and listen to another little blip there. And the idea was, by skipping around the demo, I wanted to hear a sense of range and variety. I'm listening for depth and nuance in the performances and seeing like all the different places this actor could go. And then if they pass that first listen through of, oh, these all ring true. Oh, this actor feels authentic to me and I believe what they're doing, and I get a sense of their range, and like everything doesn't feel the same and the production quality feels good, then that would be like, okay, great. There's no reason to say no to this, and it would move on to the next round. And so then in that way, it's kind of like we have this circle of filters. So this way we kind of filter through the first round, and then any of the demos that would make it into our our next round pile, or our second listen pile, we will listen to in more depth to see what's actually there and see if other little surprises show up. So that's kind of how we're going to do it, to kind of mimic that process.
And Tish, you, I saw that you wanted to jump in and say something.
A couple of things. Just to recognize that everyone has different processes. Some people some people have a million things to do in the course of their work, and this is how they do it. Some people are like, I listen to everything. So this is a way that it goes. I'm noticing that it seems like some people either sent or have just been sending demos. I'm kind of feeling like we probably have enough here, but I wanted to see if there was an easy way, if there were more, if people are not included, or if that would just complicate things.
The people who just uploaded, we already put in the list. So anybody who uploaded is...
The list is up.
Okay. So Victoria had sent in an animation demo. That's why it is. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we should be good with that. And then again, everybody, if there was anything that you sent and we don't get to you,
don't panic.
We're here for you. It won't necessarily be in a public forum, but we'll be happy to give you feedback. So
indeed. Beautiful.
All right.
Well, let's jump in. Let's jump in and see what we got happening.
I never really knew much about my grandparents, so it was incredible to see all these old pictures of them. Curing your income, protecting your family, or preserving your wealth. Now is the time to explore how Pacific Life can help you. Millions of pets across the country are up for adoption and are eagerly awaiting their forever homes. Let that home be yours. Adopt today at a PetSmart near you.
Okay. Cool. Well, first off, this person clearly understands kind of the broader industry expectations, because it came in close to 60 seconds, which was
Bravo.
Stellar.
Good job.
A minute two. Excellent. For everybody's kind of notes, commercial demos in today's industry, the magnetic number is around 60 seconds. We can go a little over, we can be a little under, but that's kind of
60.
That's kind of our good benchmark is around 60 seconds. Really good job. And then, like, performance wise, what did you hear? What did you get a sense of?
I love that we started off with something that felt real, felt like we were having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like as we were clicking through, everything kind of stayed in a similar energy and vibe as we were listening through. So I'd be curious to do a longer listen to see if there's stuff in the middle that has different energies. Because right now, Bev feels very, I would say, very soft-spoken, very sweet, and very
knowledgeable.
Yeah, like has some life experience, but I don't know if it's somebody I go to if I need something with like gravitas and or energy, like a lot of energy. So I'd be curious to listen to more if there's more in the middle there. Tish, what about you?
I agree. I thought there's a really, like, the first spot, so real, so relatable. Get a sense of maturity, experience, warmth, like just in good hands, being in good hands. This voice makes me feel in good hands. And with the warmth, a lot of tell it like it is, like that there's like a really relatable directness to it. And then there was one that was a little more polished, which sometimes we need, right? So there was a good range. I would definitely put this in for a second listen to hear the whole thing. Yeah.
Wonderful.
Cool. On to Cricket.
Sometimes you just have to go, and I need a backpack that can keep up. So whether it's socks, toiletries, my laptop, every person, and every shade of human. You love that no one can behold your early works. Even Rembrandt started some. This wasn't part of the plan, but it is the perfect pick-me-up. Hands full, zero regrets. Which means you don't have to interrupt your favorite song. Interrupt your kid's favorite song? Oh my God, turn it up.
Okay. Cool. I like that first spot was really attractive. Like, yeah. I was instantly drawn in. I felt like this was a really relatable
Yeah.
energy, like kind of like a best friend, somebody you could
Quirky.
instantly trust, which was really great. And like with a good sense of humor,
Yeah.
which was really cool. And I thought that sense of humor showed up multiple times throughout the demo, which was really nice. What I did find interesting was listening to that longer stretch at the end. It kind of felt like some of the spots were bleeding into each other, which is like a demo-y trick kind of thing. Like it felt like we were trying to be tricky with the demo just on that listen. That might not be the case if we were listening all the way through, but in that moment, it felt like the one spot kind of led into the next, as opposed to it being like a strong shift into the next, which is something we want to be careful of, right? Because as a demo, from a production standpoint, we don't want to be tricky with our demos. Like, it's not about having cool crossfades and making sure the scripts like tell a story and like they link their verbiage and all this kind of trickery. What we want is we want authenticity, and we want hard contrast. Like we really want to feel like, as
I believe you've done this spot, this spot, this spot, and this spot. Like it feels like you've pulled stuff off the radio or off TV.
Yeah. We don't want to paint a cheeky story through the whole thing, because that feels unrealistic, and it breaks that authenticity of trust that we're going for, if that makes sense.
Right. So I think what you're saying is the demo is not the final product.
Exactly.
It's what the demo implies that you can do. I think there's also sometimes, I think like this is a great example of, I get your sense of humor. I definitely get that there's snark and there was variations of snark. I'd like to hear the whole thing through to get the contrasts, because it seemed like there was kind of variations of snark, which is great because that's the through line. But I was also going to say that sometimes on that roller coaster ride, we don't want anyone to get off the roller coaster ride because like, oh, is this a new spot? Oh, wait, hold on, because it may be a great spot and a great spot, but if I have a brain click of like, oh wait, oh, this is a different spot, I'm off the ride for a little bit, and I don't know if that happened. I would like to hear I would like to hear it through and see what else is there. But yeah.
100%.
But that first spot, that to me was like, that's an undeniable voice. I want to know that person.
Yeah, it felt like Cricket walked into our room and was like, "Hey, I'm Cricket. What's up?" And I immediately knew who she was, who they were.
Yeah. For sure. So do we want to add this and listen to more?
Look at that. We're starting off with a bang.
All right.
Okay, Doug.
No rules. No.
That's the promo.
This is a promo demo. So
we're gonna skip that.
We'll skip. We're coming back to you, Doug.
Coming back. But can you feel the different energy though? Do you see why we all went, oh, that's not a commercial demo? Okay.
You're safe, Doug.
Cool. All right, JD.
We're not perfect. We know that. But we're working for him and them and as you battle alongside iconic DC superheroes to save the city of Metropolis. Only in Uranus. What? Depending on how you spell it, we're either talking about a large blue at Vons. What's the difference between fast food and fast casual? At Chipotle, our ground beef is 100% beef.
Okay, great. So a couple of things that jump out to me immediately is that it's 1 minute and 56 seconds, which means that there's definitely a lot of overlap in there that is unnecessary. So there's 56 seconds worth of editing that we can trim down to get a much more succinct picture of JD's strengths and character and personality. This is what Brittany was talking about earlier, where like it's easy to feel like how could I possibly fit all of my personality into 60 seconds? That's really not our goal, because of course no single individual could ever be condensed down to a 60-second presentation of a thing.
No way.
That's why I wanted to plant that seed early about thinking of this as a tool, as opposed to a resume, or as opposed to like people use the term like that your voice demo is like your headshot in a sense, which it's really not. Like your voice demo is a tailored tool to open specific doors for you. And I think JD's demo as it is kind of floundering all over the place. It feels like everything in the kitchen sink, which was really interesting. I think clicking through energetically, it felt like the vocal lived in a similar energetic place through most of what we listened to. And also there was a little blip in there where I heard kind of like that, like another voice in the demo. And it kind of felt like an old school radio approach to things, which
when it comes to pulling other voices into your demo, I've had this happen before. When someone's listening to a demo and another voice comes up, what if they like that voice more than your voice and you're showing off someone else's work and they're like, oh, hey, JD, I really like that voice in that spot. Who was that? Can I get their contact information? We don't want that. You don't want to show off anybody else's work because this should be all about you. And so keep that in mind when you're thinking about other voices and things. And then a big thing for me that I heard with some of these, I heard 𝗏𝗺𝗀, I heard 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗫. I really liked that first spot because I was like, oh, warm, knowledgeable. He's coming with some wisdom. I really like that. But then when we got into the more upbeat, fast-paced, DC, all that stuff, 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗫 and 𝗏𝗺𝗀's, their branding is not like that currently. They don't use that type of production. They don't use those types of voices and performances in that way. And so I was immediately like, oh, this is a demo, because they felt false for those particular clients' branding and what they've been doing in the last few years. So for me, I was like, oh, it's a demo. So that's also something to keep in mind. Are you being authentic to what's on the radio today, to what's on TV today? Tish.
Yeah, dialogue spots, back in my day, 30 years ago, you had to have a dialogue spot with your best friend who was the opposite sex, right? But now it really is something that makes it dated and can get people off track. I thought the first spot was like, okay, I got this. I felt like in many of the spots, the thought was behind the, let's see, how do I want to say that? The thought was behind the words. The dojo, we talk about when you're reading something, you're reading someone else's words and your thoughts are behind because it's not yours. When it's your thoughts are ahead of the words because you know where you're going. So there was just this little teeny tiny nuance of something being, the pacing being behind the words, which I think is it's a minor adjustment, but it's something, the nuance that I listened to. The 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗫 thing, I was like, wait, what is that doing in there? It was not totally in tune for this voice and not the brand too. I think the Uranus thing is really interesting because it's catchy, it catches you, and it also, also why I don't suggest putting menstrual products on your demo. It might be a lovely menstrual product, but there might just be some ooh, okay. So I think that's an interesting line to walk because I think it was funny. I think it was delivered well. It might be oh, he just said anus. I don't know. Now I'm thinking about something else. So you don't want to, and if that's your humor and that's something that could be good, but those are little things to notice, what we don't necessarily want to be everything has a little Peter Pan collar on it, but also just to know that that could be something. And hopefully I didn't gross anyone out or think that menstrual products are bad or anything like that. There's just something that comes up, right? Yeah. So I think there's some good stuff there. I would not necessarily in this context put it to the second listen.
Mm-hmm. On to Jim.
Thank you, JD. Let's listen to Jim.
Grab onto adventure with both hands in the new turbocharged Ford Bronco. Any terrain feels like and outside. It's time you put the pro in protection.
Ring Whole Home Security Kit. When big hunger hits, the only way to calm that beast.
Become the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. United we sweat. Together we change. Gymshark.
Okay, interesting.
This is so interesting because I feel like I know who did your demo. I could be totally wrong, but I feel like I know who did your demo. Everything felt really punchy and processed and like, which is great to have for a couple of the spots, but a lot of commercials aren't created that way. And so I felt like the sound design and the music and the feeling was covering up some of Jim's lovely performance. So I kept getting distracted and my ear kept going to the sounds versus what you were doing, Jim, which got distracting for me. I like the client, like the truck. I really like for you. I like that you have this Southern feel that feels very it's
like rough and tumble, but athletic,
but still like I could trust you. Like I feel like it's somebody I'd go to if I had problems or someone I could trust. But I didn't hear a spot like that because everything just felt like in your face, let's go type of feel.
How did it go again?
Let's go. You know, and so I feel like this demo can open certain doors. And at the same time, I think you need it, Jim, it would be lovely to hear something that's much more real and stripped back and feels a lot more national commercial vibe that's not so punchy. So that you, as the actor, doesn't get overpowered by all the stuff going on around you. Because there's some great stuff in there. That's how I felt.
I'd be interested to hear it, like maybe hear it through to see if there is something different. I would maybe suspect not because so many were kind of highly produced. That being said, of the highly produced spots, I thought they were really clear, on brand, and variations of your voice that were really, really well done. The truck, like that's great. And then there was a little different thing for the security that could be the Home Depot, setting up the grill, getting the garden going. And then we also heard that like an authentic, like even though agree with the production quality could be back, so the voice comes forth even more. But that was a really good example of like, and here's quiet energy, and then here's a high energy one, and we can go there, and then a little bit different. Like a real feeling of inspiration that for this was a gym, but I could also hear on a, what we call at the dojo, hope, help, hold your hands, like healthcare thing. Like, so I thought that was a nice range. I might be worth listening through to see if there is something quieter in between, but definitely, I think it sounds like the consensus is totally competitive, and I'll bet you there's even more of Jim that we would like to see and hear. Like, so it's a compelling thing. Like, ooh, I would like to hear even more of that. So, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll throw it in the second listen.
Okay.
Do you have any?
No, it's good.
Again, I'm so curious if it's I think it's the demo producer I'm thinking of.
Sure.
All right, Joel.
You know, it's not too often, but Mondays happen. But so does free refills at Bean Machine Coffee. Fun and more fun. The new Horizon X5 SUV, built for the road ahead. Class is high energy. Every trainer is in your corner. Join today and crush tomorrow. Not just medicine, it's people.
I'm so glad that this one was the next one, because I feel like this is the opposite.
Yeah.
In the sense of where everything with Jim, right? It was Jim?
Yeah.
Felt really
Joel. Oh, Jim was who we listened to before.
Before, where everything with Jim's demo came out really like punchy, and like everything, even the softer stuff, was still very aggressive. I feel like everything with Joel's demo is very soft and could actually use a sprinkle of that
in some of the
spots. Because with how do I put this? We have to be sensitive in the most objective way possible of how these demos are just coming at us from the speakers. Meaning that when, as a casting director, odds are very high that I'm not going to know who Joel is, right? So this is me clicking on a random thing, a person I have no personal connection with, and I am just receiving what comes out of the speakers as the truth, right? And when we're listening in this context, like, authenticity is so important. And I feel like, both Jim's demo and Joel's demo are doing them both a little bit of a disservice because they both feel like demos as opposed to making performance and production choices that are aligned authentically with who they are and how the clients that are being represented on their demo actually sound out in the real world. And this is one of the most frustrating things for Brittany and I as demo producers, is because, like we said in the beginning, we are surrounded by commercials every single day. Like, there is no shortage of available knowledge of, like, how do these clients sound on the radio? Let me listen. How do these clients sound on TV? I don't know. Let me listen. So it's just surprising to me when we hear demos with really talented people that are being let down by the choices that are being made on the demo because they're just not in line with what's actually happening out in the world right now. So as attractive as Joel's voice was, as clean and polished as the production choices were, as simple and direct as it felt, for me, it was still very much like, I don't get it.
It's a demo.
It's a demo. And it was a distracting thing. And I wasn't able to get a sense of Joel's personality and the range that they were bringing and like how I would even place him, other than like, Joel seems like a nice guy.
Yeah.
Like, we gotta be better. We're so passionate about this. Like, we can do better. Like, we can do so much better.
And I loved, Joel, I loved your vibe. Like, when you first came out of the speaker, it was, I really was like, ooh, I like his energy. He has a really good vibe and all this stuff. And then I think what happened, and Tish Talks I'm sure can speak more about this, is as we were going, I felt like some of the reads were almost there. They were almost authentic, but it felt like we were putting it on a little bit. And the production showcased that even more.
Yeah, I think those are my exact words. It is playing at these things.
Yeah.
The voice could be appropriate, but it had this energy of playing at it, what it's supposed to sound like, or what your idea of what it should sound like, rather than, oh yeah, this is my take on it.
Yeah.
So this is a really interesting, and this is why we listen for these little nuances, because maybe you guys can hear these little nuances as well. Like, oh yeah, actually, yeah. So I would say I would probably pass on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, Joshua.
And
this is Joshua Katz. We have two Joshuas.
Mustang, this is Bravo 6. I repeat, this is Bravo 6. We are on our way out.
It's got mislabeled. That's an animation demo labeled as a commercial demo.
So just kidding. Ignore that. Ignore that.
Kidding.
I was like, is this a video game?
This is just a great little side note, is labeling is really important. Like you can see here in the title that it's commercial, but then when we click on it,
Mustang, this is Bravo 6.
It clearly says animation in the metadata. And that happens.
I think it's also really important because, like, if you've never done anything with demos, there's the reality that you want to send the right demo to the right person who might be hearing us. And you could see we all, like, in the same way we went in the first second of the promo demo. Oh, that's not what I was listening for. In the same thing, like, wait, what ad would be? Oh, it's a different genre. Yeah. And then if I go like, I'm going to listen to an animation demo. Oh, okay, this is kind of like a real, or a interactive demo. Like, oh, this is a first person shooter. Okay, got it. But out of context, it's sort of like, wait, what? Huh? What? Yeah. So again, we want to keep people on the ride and help them get their job done. So
yeah.
All right, Joshua.
Other Joshua.
Quinn.
You work hard for every penny. Doesn't the time pennies work for you? Acorns automatically invest your spare change while you bank and save. All while maintaining a 3.7 GPA. Now that's game. Your face wants a chalupa. Taco Bell. Make your face happy. You know where you are. The question is, where to next?
Okay. Really interesting. That first spot was great.
Snaps to that, man.
I was like, whoa. Like I instantly felt drawn into like his personality, his vibe, his energy. I was like, ooh, I feel like I'm excited to hear what comes next.
And even the sports one, I was like, okay. I thought
the basketball one.
The basketball one. It felt like a real regional thing that you booked.
Yeah, it was cool. And then as we got further into the demo, I felt like we started, we really kind of took a hard pivot into like, I don't understand this. Like the Taco Bell one was really confusing.
That's not their thing at all.
And then the very last one, I'm not really sure what that was.
I think it was supposed to be a car spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It felt like we kind of got off the rails a little bit, which is interesting. Like these are the types of things that come up when we're listening to demos back to back to back. Also, I noticed that it's 1:30, which is quite a bit long for a commercial demo.
So there's plenty to cut.
And I think some good editing would be really helpful for this demo to help Joshua find more clarity. Because right now it almost felt like we were getting two different people. It was like we had those first two spots that like were different and made sense of like, oh, cool. Like Joshua was this like young, relatable guy.
And it felt real.
Kind of athletic. And it felt like he was coming from this like real person place. Like nothing felt announcery or anything like that. And then we ended up in that weird place.
I would say, Joshua, like the first two felt like things, it felt authentic to you, like your humor and you as a human and all this stuff. And then we kind of like what we heard earlier, we put on the car spot. We put on this other spot because that's what you should have in a demo. When maybe that's just not you as a human. It didn't feel connected.
Or maybe your version of that is different. Like how when you are taco sexy, maybe it's different.
Yeah.
But then sounding taco sexy, right? Yeah. I'm sorry, did you have more?
No, and then I was just gonna say, those last two spots, in addition with the production on top of it, the production with that type of performance, they didn't match. So I was like, oh, these aren't real as compared to the other two. So yeah.
And that's really interesting because for me, the first two was a little music forward. Like I heard the music first, both technically like hearing music first and then the voice, but I also heard more of the music than the voice. I do think it was appropriate. And then, I think that was exactly my note on the chalupa I was trying. And then the other one was really interesting. And it's also really interesting as you're listening, guys, notice what happens in your body. Notice what happens in your body when you hear each of these things. Because I heard that it was like a more intimate thing, but then it was like so close that I literally went like, oh, like it was like, it was interesting. Like notice what happens physiologically in your body as it's responding to the voice. So yeah, I think there's lots of good things in there that can be refined and maybe revisited to serve even better. But I would 100%. Probably pass on that one.
Yeah, 100%. All right, Kevin.
Success leaves clues. Shift your focus. Change your state. It starts with physiology. Here, or replace. Achieve the luxury for your life you've always deserved. The all-new, first ever, all-electric Cadillac Festique. New Balance. Taking a leave means long-lasting all-day pain relief. That means fewer pills for me and more time to focus on what's important.
I believe that.
I believe that one. That Aleve spot that was just very conversational. I believed that out of every spot that we heard.
Yeah.
Because again, it's so interesting because some of those clients, Kevin, you have a lovely voice. Like, it's a really interesting voice and a really interesting point of view. But some of those clients just don't use that type of vibe in their campaigns. Because I listen to a lot of commercials. And so like New Balance does not use that type of voice in that way. So it's something really interesting to kind of think about. I also thought, I felt like everything kind of, the voice and the performance all kind of lived right here the whole time. Like, we had some very subtle changes and nuance, but it all kind of lived right here. So I think what would be interesting, Kevin, as an experiment is to see what other energies you have. Like your version of like more energetic or things that are not as soft feeling. Everything felt very laid back and very soft. So I'd be curious what else you got in the tank.
Yeah. And I would say, like, you know, a big takeaway for everybody, especially with these last handful of demos we've listened to, is we've been hitting on this repeated theme of like, this sounds like somebody trying to do a thing. When it comes to your demo, like we said in the beginning, this is an organic process, right? Mm-hmm. There are no predetermined buckets to fill. You do not have to have a car spot. You do not have to have an athletic spot.
Or fast food.
You do not have to have fast food. Like, these are all things that, if they align with your personality and it brings out your strengths and it builds the type of tool that you want to use, then fantastic. But there's no rules here. So it feels like with these last few demos, the thing that's been kind of rubbing everybody in slightly different ways is this idea that, like, it's like, why are we including things on the demo that the personality is not a great fit for?
Yeah.
It feels like we're forcing ourselves into these roles, when instead what Brittany and I...
The Advil.
I
love it.
When what Brittany and I are saying is, like, we can build this in a much more organic, authentic way. And like, there is no reason why, if you are not a high energy person, there is no reason for you to go for a high energy retail thing if that's not your vibe. You know, if you are not a funny person, there is no reason for you to try and be funny if you're not funny. Like, we don't have to force these things. And I think that's kind of a big takeaway for everybody that we've been hitting on for these last few demos is they feel forced. And it feels like we're trying to cram somebody into a role that maybe if we zoomed out a little bit, they'd be like, you know what, I'm not really interested in that. You know what, I don't really resonate with taco sexy or whatever Tish said, which was so funny.
Yeah.
But I think that's really a really important thing to keep in mind is, like, this demo is for you. And especially in a commercial context, we are listening for your personality. We're not listening for the clients. I don't care if you have Chipotle, Taco Bell, Walmart, McDonald's, Al's Toy Barn, Lexus. Like, I don't care about the clients. What I care about is, do I believe you with the clients? You know, if you've got Chipotle on there, do I believe that when I'm watching my NBA app and I see 10,000 Chipotle commercials, do you sound like that? And if you do, yes, that is our goal. But if that's not your thing, then don't force it onto the demo. You know, these are organic tools and they need to be built specifically for you, not based on some predetermined idea of you. So it's kind of amazing how deep we can go with these things. Cause like it really is about stripping away all of the stories we tell ourselves, all of the like, well, what if this person doesn't like this? And how do I know that they're going to hear what they need to hear and all these things? And it's like, let's just get honest.
Yeah.
Like, let's just not force it and let's see what we genuinely connect to. And then if we're connected to it, then we can trust that the right people will also be connected to it as well.
Yeah, and
Boom.
I
Demo workshop.
I thought the first spot, there was something about the music, how the music and the voice interrelated, that I was like, wait, what? I was confused at first. Second spot, well, first of all, it's an intriguing voice. Like, I want to know more about this voice. I want to hear this voice share things with me. Like, there's something really intriguing. I thought the second spot had kind of like a cool Jeff Goldblum thing going on, which is interesting, because I think there's a way, as we are listening to what's on the air and who's out there and who has a vibe. Like, if you're selling real estate, you find what's the comp on the street, right? And not that you would want to, well, you could use that as a skill to voice match Jeff Goldblum. And Jeff Goldblum has a very on-the-air commercial voice right now. Like, he has campaigns and he does things like that. And he's been part of big campaigns that particularly like his kind of vibe. So how do you tune into that thing that we would describe Jeff Goldblum's voice as having essentially, but making it Kevin's version of that? But there was something really intriguing about that. I really liked the Aleve thing too. Good. I probably wouldn't listen again on this.
Things to nudge, things to think about. All right, let's move on to Lora.
Oh, hi, I'm Robot. And are you ready to walk with me? Talk with me? How about play? Ready to go? When we enter high school, we face more pressure than just the weight of our backpacks. We've got demanding homework, high expectations, and a way more complicated social to do because I took the Red Cross babysitting course. So I'm prepared for anything. It's emoji cookies at Sweet's Bake Shop. Order today and you'll get $10 off emoji.
What an interesting voice. It's so we just worked with a client who has a not the same voice, but a very youthful voice like that, which is always so fun. I really like a lot of the spots, and I believed them. When we have youthful voices like that feel a little more animated just naturally, because that's just how we talk and stuff. Picking clients becomes so important. And also I feel like you're not, and I could be totally wrong, so please, grain of salt. I feel like you're not a teenager and not in your 20s. And when we take on spots where it's like, I'm in the babysitter thing, that a teenager would say, like a 30-year-old woman wouldn't be like, I'm taking a babysitting course. That's the one I didn't believe, because it felt it didn't feel authentic. But I love the toy spot. I thought the one app that we heard after that, the Red Cross, I thought that felt really real for what they do. So it's such an interesting balance of like having this youthful animated voice and finding the appropriate stuff for it, and also realizing you are an adult as well, so you don't have to play a kid. We can hear you as an adult with your knowledge and with that kind of stuff as well. And so having spots where you're trying to be an authentic teenager, an authentic kid, might not read. But I thought there were so many really interesting, successful spots in this, and what a cool voice. Tish, what'd you think?
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think because it's such a fun, character-y voice. At first I was like, oh. And then the first spot is very interactive. I thought, oh, wait a second, is this also mislabeled? Like, I thought it might be an interactive or an e-learning thing for a young kid, which, like, rock and roll, go do that 1,000, like, every minute of the day, because this voice is perfect for that. My exact same note on that spot, the words were the age was not appropriate. Yeah, I guess I would say what are other things where we could have a grown-up's perspective with a kind of quirky voice. I'm like, some kooky juice thing or something like that. That it's not necessarily like I would kind of maybe want to look for other material that would. A lot of times when we're working with people who have like really specific younger sounding voices, I think a lot of times people who have those voices might have experience in life that when they put that voice forward, they might be taking. I can't speculate what happens in someone's life. I always say, okay, even if you have a voice that sounds like this all the time, how do you talk when you're going to get a loan at the bank? Right, like that, and then you can go like, I have a voice that sounds like this, but I'm doing something that's different, right? So I'm just making shit up now, but when we have a younger voice, what is the grown-up connection? Because you are a grown-up. Mm-hmm. What is that version of your voice, and how do we get that in there as well? Especially since there's so many like actual kids that do this now. Yeah. That it really becomes clear when it's an older person doing a younger mindset. I think we all have the mindset, but sometimes you're just 35 and yeah. So, and I know a little bit more about Lora. So I'm intrigued because I think that you've got a lot of different things that you're bringing to the party that could be even more than that. Yeah.
Cool. All right. Well, we made it through our first listen. So before we depart from commercial land, let's dive into our second listen things. And since we only have just a few here, we'll listen all the way down, and then we'll see if our original impression shifts at all in terms of like more variety, in terms of more nuance, or some surprises in there, because it usually is quite surprising.
Yeah.
So we'll jump in with Bev.
I never really knew much about my grandparents, so it was incredible to see all these old pictures of them. Ancestry allowed me this amazing opportunity. The 𝗧𝗶𝗺𝗀 smart faucet. Convenient, precise, intuitive, allowing you to save time throughout your day. It can happen with your grandkids.
Grandma, I spilled!
And your grown kids.
Mom, I spilled!
Even if they are 35. Some things just never change, and that's why there's Swiffer WetJet. Whether it's securing your income, protecting your family, or preserving your wealth, now is the time to explore how Pacific Life can help you reach your retirement goals. Crashing with Uncle Frank and Aunt Shirley during your visit is affordable, if you can afford sleeping on the attic futon with no AC alongside their pet, Squirrel. Or you could just stay at a Holiday Inn. Thousands of pets across the country are up for adoption and are eagerly awaiting their forever homes. Let that home be yours. Adopt today at a PetSmart near you.
All right, what changed for you? Anything?
Yeah, it's so interesting. There's a couple of spots where it's like, now I'm being knowledgeable and I'm giving you some I'm giving you some hard truths or something. Those, to me, after having so many real connected natural moments, those felt put on for me, though they didn't feel connected to me like everything else did. So I was like, interesting. So it would be an interesting thing to maybe relook at those, and what Tish said earlier with some of the other people of what's your version of serious, knowledgeable, that type of stuff, as opposed to now I'm putting on my serious voice. Let's go. You know, it just doesn't feel connected. So I think we could bridge that gap even more. But Bev, I know exactly where I'd put you. I know exactly where I'd cast you. And it made me giggle a few times. So I think if this demo is opening doors for you, don't touch it.
Yeah, it definitely puts forward like a really clear sense of like your personality.
Yeah.
And like exactly what Brittany said, like very easy to be like, oh, like these are some opportunities I would consider you for casting and whatnot. So yeah, Exactly.
And I think it's cool to get the full sense of full sense of the ride, because that first Antercy spot is golden, so good, so good. Yes, yes, yes. And then the Moen took it down to a little bit more intimate, and it was still really believable and intimate, quiet, luxury, peaceful, like all of those things and anything that could go along with that. But there was a contrast, right? Conversational to that. And then it went into the grandma. Now, we just said no other voices, but when we have those little snips that help to create a scene, that's okay. We aren't going to be confused. Like, was that you, Bev, being that other kid asking for another cook? They're like, no, clearly it's some other voice that's helping to form the story. So like that's kind of interesting. The Swiffer spot, I'm all for demos that kind of have main dishes, main courses, side dishes, and then little garnishes. I love that. On my first demo, I just had a little thing that said, people tell me I look better with my shirt on. Yeah, right. Like just like a little pepper of like, whoa, what was that? The Swiffer spot had another flavor, but it seemed like it was like, wait, what? I wasn't quite, like if you chopped it or I didn't quite get the like, ooh, that's a radish, or like I didn't get quite that other flavor distinctly. But so that's the little word. I kind of agree. With Brittany in that I think you have a gravitas and an authority that you don't have to put anything on. So that, that could be even. The Holiday Inn spot made me laugh. I thought that was a great example of totally telling a story, setting a scene, and then your timing and the squirrel, that was just super funny. Like it was funny. You understand timing. We get your sense of humor. That was awesome. And then the adopted pet just, I would wanted just a little, one more titch towards the ancestry, like still pulling out the dogs are dying, right? But maybe a little more your take, like when you talk about that, it had a little polish on it, but it's all very effective. I get a really good sense of you, and I'd say, yeah, if it's working for you, you have a sense of who you are and what you're bringing to the party, and I would know that. So, yeah.
And then, Tish, since we have only 45 minutes left, do we want to swap over to more character stuff or keep living in this?
Why don't we let people listen through? We'll do really quick notes, and so that just we have the complete experience. Since we only have 2 more, and I think it's good to have. I think it's kind of good to have a femme, non-binary and mask sort of approach too. That's kind of interesting.
Sometimes you just have to go, and I need a backpack that can keep up. So whether it's socks, toiletries, my laptop, that leather working kit, because hobbies, it all fits. Because it's my life, I'm gonna take it with me.
A foundation is the base, support, or groundwork for something. And Fresco Beauty foundations are built on inclusivity and diversity. Foundations for every person and every shade of human.
You love that no one can behold your early works. Even Rembrandt started somewhere. Introducing Kwikset Smart Code 917 Residential Electronic Lever.
Just a quick grocery run, that was the plan. But then, there it was, that coffee cafe by the entrance. And now you've got the fall spice latte in hand. This wasn't part of the plan, but it is the perfect pick-me-up. Hands full, 0 regrets. Which means you don't have to interrupt your favorite song. Interrupt your kid's favorite song? Oh my God, turn it up. Or brave the outdoors. Nope. Try carry-out car-side delivery and we'll conveniently carry out your order. Contact-free.
Okay. Cool. I think for me, listening through, I feel like a lot of it was repetitive.
Yeah. To the point where I got confused where one spot ended and another began.
Sure. Yeah. I felt like from a performance and like energetic standpoint, everything kind of lived in a very, very small place.
Very subtle.
A great place a very marketable, awesome, relatable place. However, you could take this demo down to like 2 spots and call it a day.
Yeah.
With in terms of the variety and the range that is showcased. Like you could literally take your pick of like that first spot and then any of the last 3 spots, and then have that second spot that you had, and then that would be the whole range of the demo. I do think that second spot, it felt like I understand what it was, and what we were going for, but again, it felt like we were going for a thing as opposed to embracing your version of a thing, and it came across a little
really sad. For foundation, especially when we're talking about things that we're inclusive, we're for all types of people and all vibes, but it felt like this brand wasn't doing that and we were sad about it. Which
it's not what we were
isn't what we would want. But yeah, I totally agree with Ryan. I feel like that there's so much more to cricket that we didn't hear, and a lot of it felt the same. And so I was just kind of like, okay, when's it? Is this okay? So I would have stopped it way earlier, because just not everything kind of stayed the same. But love your voice, love your vibe. Like, you have a cool, quirky, awesome vibe that I want to like dive into and be a part of. It's just for a demo, there's more we can do.
Yeah, I think I agree with that. Everything is like indelible you, and I think there's even more sides to you. So yeah.
All right, Jim.
Grab onto adventure with both hands in the new turbocharged Ford Bronco. Any terrain feels like home. Ford, the rugged legacy lives on. Secure your home with advanced features like radar-powered 3D motion detection and 2K video, so you can see what's happening inside and outside. It's time you put the pro in protection. Ring Whole Home Security Kit. When big hunger hits, the only way to calm that beast is to layer up all your favorite flavors. The Crunchwrap Supreme from Taco Bell is not just grand, it's grande. Belong to a community that's committed to helping you become the version of yourself you've always wanted to be. United we sweat, together we change. Gymshark. With no limit on how much you can earn, plus no annual fee, the real question is, what's in your wallet? The Capital One Quicksilver Card.
So interesting. I stand by what I said earlier. I still feel like everything felt really punch in the face. But now listening all the way through, I don't know what Jim actually sounds like. Like, if Jim walked into my office, is he going to be the gruff guy? Or is he going to be kind of the quirky guy? Like, because his voice changed, like the quality of his voice changed so much that I was like, I don't know what you actually sound like. So I don't know if I can trust you coming in and playing a real person, because I don't know who you are. Yeah. Was my initial impression listening all the way through.
Yeah. And I would say another way to phrase that is that, like, this is where we talk about like playing a character in a commercial context, as opposed to just being authentically ourselves, right? Because obviously, like, we can be, all of us as humans have our own version of like, let's go get it, and cozy warm pajama night, and I'm in love feelings, and I'm out with my friends. We all have those life experiences to pull from, but what we don't want to do is ever like lean into where we're putting on the idea of those things. And it feels like we never get a sense of who you really are. And I feel like that's another way to think about it, is it was like it was almost like we were hearing these different caricatures, sort of subtly, but they were still there, as opposed to like,
especially coming right after Cricket, who felt so real. And Bev, I know exactly who they are, exactly what they sound like. And then hearing Jim right after that, it's like, wait, who's he? Where? Mm-hmm. Is he this quirky guy? Is he this tough guy? So something to think about.
Yeah. And then I thought it was interesting because one of the things we said, let's listen to the whole thing. Oh, we did listen to the whole thing, except there was one on the end. right, like the when we popped through, we got all the exactly the same things. There wasn't any little different in the there wasn't anything little different in between. Yeah, this is really interesting. Like, it would be interesting to talk, Jim, and see how this is serving you, because I think it probably is serving you. And again, as we get to like, ooh, what else? What if there was more Jim, less production? I mean, and the production is like, it's not bad. It's good. It's just that everything kind of has the same this direction. There's nothing that brings me in. Right? There's no come to me, right? Yeah. And you know, maybe this is it. So I think it's, you know, it's solid. If it's working for you, awesome. And this just opens up to, ooh, what else could we do? Oh, because I did get some triangulation of, oh, he could, like, between the security and the big hunger, like, oh, it can go there. Okay. But I didn't get much bigger triangulation of like, oh, he can also go here. Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. All within your same brand, all, you know, like all within authentically you. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. Cool.
Right.
Yeah, we're planning to go to 12. Kelsey, would this be a good time to do a little break in case people do need to leave? We can take a picture. We can just talk about how to stay in touch real quick, which we'll refer to at the end too, and then we'll jump in and switch gears to what are we listening for in an animation.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So do you want to stop sharing, so if they want to do the picture thing?
Yeah, I think we still have 2 pages of people here. All right. Well, let's, if you would like to bring if you can, I know sometimes Kelsey always says, you're so smart, you're so pretty, you're so smart, you're getting paid to listen to this at work. But if you can bring your picture up, we can do that. Okay. All right, here we go. Here is page 1. And we'll say demo. And page 2, we'll say demo. Seems we got pictures. Maybe people aren't ready yet. Okay, so that's fine. Cool. So, Brittany and Ryan, how do people stay in touch with you?
Yeah, absolutely. We have a beautiful website, nextlevelvoicedemos.com.
Does need to be updated, but you know.
Well, it's always being updated. We thankfully we work with a lot of great people, and so our materials are always being updated and cycled through. But I popped the link in the chat. There's also a direct link to our calendar where you can sign up for a 15-minute no obligation call to chat with us. We can chat more about the demo that you shared today. We can answer any other questions that you have.
Your specific situation,
things of that nature. So yeah, it's just nextlevelvoicedemos.com.
And Kelsey also put it up.
And Kelsey put it up, and we dropped it in there. And so yeah, we would love to hear from you. Like I said, like we offer that 15-minute no obligation thing. So, you know, any questions, demo stuff, like whatever, we're here as a resource. And, you know, we really, you know, like to make ourselves available for you, you know, after these things, because I know we cover a lot. And so as things marinate and settle, I'm sure other questions might pop up, and we're here to help.
And in terms of what's happening at the dojo, there's always a million things happening, good things happening at the dojo. In the context of this, hop on my calendar to do a follow-up for this, because I'll be the one who'll be able to go like, here we can go more in depth about my thoughts on your demo, or what else we can discuss, because I don't want to set up a like my thoughts on your demo sort of thing, like, but a collaborative discussion. And then if you are on the beginning of your journey, we have You Should Do voiceover launchpad and workout coming up starting in the beginning of May. We have a few spots left. And even if you are on your journey, the launchpad is designed to be the foundation of everything we do here at the dojo. And think of it as if you're trying to build a 40-story building, your vision is having a 40-story building. A lot of times we start building on foundations that are not deep enough to build a 40-story building, right? So what the Launchpad is about, like, let's lay foundations that go deep, so you can build to the height that you want to. So that's happening. If you're anywhere on your journey from I don't know to working pro, I think a lot of people said I don't have my demo yet, or I have one. I want to. We have our Mystery to Mastery program that can be a place where you can click in and work together for a while and support yourself. And then we also have our Working Pro division, which is called the Nth Degree. And we can meet you as a working pro and see where else, how we can support you in getting where you want to go, not by yourself. And then Fight Clubs is part of our Nth Degree, our Working Pro division, Working Pro workouts that bring together top-notch talent and the decision makers who hire us. That is coming up tomorrow night. We have Jessica Blue doing live dubbing. Then, if you have any inkling of animation, Renee Johnson from Disney Characters Voices is joining us on the 19th. That is not recorded. And an extraordinary opportunity to work with someone who is just an absolute genius in that realm. I'm not saying that Caitlin Robrook is the voice of Minnie Mouse because she came to a Fight Club, but I do know that she first met Renee Johnson at a Fight Club and now is the voice. The math doesn't math, but she did meet in her first. So Fight Clubs are always happening. Demo rep and booking to play, and everyone can be a spectator. And one more thing, if you are a working pro, if you have your demo and you may have some representation but looking for more, if you are looking for representation, if you are have one area of your voiceover career going, but you're looking to diversify your portfolio, we have another part of our Working Pro division that's called the Nth Degree Career Catapult. That's coming up at the beginning of the May, a 3-day weekend intensive. That is an intimate 3-day experience of honing in on your vision, where you are, where you want to be, aligning you with lots of different people who can show you ways to do it. And we finish with 4 hours with top agents and managers, a panel discussion, everyone's demo review, and basically it becomes a mini interview. Billy Kalura from CSD New York, Dean Panero from Dean Panero Talent in LA, and Sumit from Cope are the guests. So if you're interested in that, you can touch base with our Nth Degree producer, Melina Bielefeld. That's coming up. We have a few seats left and would love to. That's a life-changing experience. It has been for people. So, okay. So that is some stuff that's going on. If you, we're going to jump into animation. If you do need to roll, thank you for being here. This happens the third Wednesday of every month. Get to know VO. We also have Master Sensei the first Wednesday of every month. So put it on your calendar and be here if you can. And I think that gives us a good half hour to explore, and we should probably open it up to questions too. So
yeah,
we can get to in the animation and at least get a sense of what else we're looking for in an animation demo.
No, that sounds great. Yeah, we'll spend like 15 minutes and then we'll leave 15. So
yeah,
if your animation demo doesn't get listened to, or your character demo doesn't get listened to, get on our calendars. Promise we'll listen to everybody. And same with the person who sent in the promo. I'm so sorry we didn't get to it. All right, so
I'll pull this up while you set the stage.
So when it comes to animation, video game, character demos, all this stuff, just like with commercial, you want to think about who your buyer is, right? And so one thing to think about is animation casting directors are listening for different things than video game casting directors, right? I hear it all from casting at Blizzard and Disney and various different things all the time of when they get a demo that's a character demo, they press play and they're like, what is this? I don't know what this is. It's just a bunch of voices. Nothing's connected. So just like with commercial, when it comes to our animation or video game demos, we want to make sure that they feel authentic to the medium and show off your characters, your range, and you as a performer. So typically there's a lot of nuance and a lot of difference in between, but when we're doing an animation demo, we want to hear you're funny. We want to hear your range. We want to hear the extremes of your voice and where you would fit in an animation context. Are you a Disney Junior type of performer or more of a Disney Channel, more of a Disney XD? Are you a Nickelodeon person? Are you an Adult Swim person? Do you do anime? Those are the things we want to hear in an animation demo versus a video game demo. In that, I want to hear what emotional depth do you have? Do you do accents? What types of games? Can you scream? Can you do creature voices? All of those different things is what I'm going to be listening to for video games. And how can you authentically connect to different characters? Because especially today, video games are a lot more natural than they used to be. And animation to a certain extent as well, but definitely video games. It's a lot about natural performances. And so when it comes to our demos, they are very useful. I'm directing a video game session after this today, and we used demos to cast the voices for this trailer. We sent demos to the client, and they picked 3 people that they were like, yep, I want this person, this person, and this person, just on their video game demos. So they're very useful. So it's things to keep in mind. So always think, who is this demo for? All right, so let's dive in.
We're gonna go backwards. We're going all the way down. We're gonna go from the bottom up.
So Victoria.
I've been seeing Victoria over here the whole time. I'm like, all right, we're gonna make sure.
We got you, Victoria.
Make sure their demo gets listened to.
So animation.
We're sure. Okay, animation. Let's do it.
It's finally lunchtime, and today's lunch is takoyaki. Oh no, I forgot to pack my lunch this morning. Now I'm gonna starve.
No one will suspect a thing.
Teacher, I have a question. How are babies made, and can I go to the bathroom?
Did you think for a second you'd actually get away with this? I didn't think it was possible, but you're stupider than you look.
I see. So you lied to me.
Help you? Why are you trying to push me away? What are you trying to...
So interesting. So Victoria, your kid voices are really, really cute. I feel a lot of your performances feel like they live in this preschool vibe, like preschool kid vibe. I'm cheating because I see your face and you are definitely an adult. Where are your adult voices? I want way more adult voices, because when it comes to kids in animation, it's great to know you can do kid voices. Yes, adults absolutely still play kids. However, we don't voice them as much as we used to because they hire actual kiddos for a lot of this stuff. So even though we can do kid voices and it's great to show that off, I want to hear way more adult voices and more outside of just the preschool pacing. Because when it comes to animation, animation moves fast. The comedy's fast. The talking is fast, the action is fast. So we need a lot more of that versus preschool animation where it's like, what's your name? Okay, this is so fun. A lot of that had that kind of pacing. So we need to vary it up so much more and have a lot more different stakes as opposed to just being a voice. We should feel you in a scene. We should know what's going on. Are you jumping off a cliff? Are you skateboarding? Did you skin your knee? I don't know. So we need a lot more action and movement as opposed to just voicing. Because when it comes to voice acting, the voice, 5%. The acting is what I want. Yeah. That's what we're really listening for. The voice will take care of itself.
Yeah. And I think that's the big thing is that we're really listening for, and that a lot of like bigger, that casting directors and agents are listening for is movement within a scene, right? Is without any support from sound design or music, just with your vocal, can we tell what's happening?
And does it make me laugh?
Or cry, or whatever the intent of the thing is, right? Like, it's really about crafting these, this movement and this intentionality in our scene work, along with having interesting vocal prints that, bring all this to life. So again, like what Brittany said, really great job with the kids stuff. Definitely a lot to explore with the adult things, and within your kids stuff, a lot to explore in terms of like activity and motion. Like maybe one of the kids is playing hockey and gets hit in the face, and like maybe another kid is like riding a bike and then like, zooms down a hill unexpectedly, or whatever it is. Like, there's so many opportunities to explore movement in here. And I feel like that's the big thing that's missing from this, which is just making this demo as it is feel a little bit bland, even though your vocal prints are interesting. So good start, good foundation, like cool stuff, and we have a lot of actionable stuff to play with.
What about you, Tish?
Yeah, I thought the first thing, like, ooh, there's a little kid that sounds like a little kid, and then there was a little arc of like, oh, trouble, fixing it. So I was like, okay, cool. Then the shift into the little teeny snippet of something's going on. I don't know what's going on, but like, I want to hear more of like that. Like that, I know with that switch, I like, oh, she can do that. And she can do that. Ooh, interesting. I just wanted a little bit more of it. And then I wrote kid again. It was funny. Kid again. It was something. Kid again. Kid again. So I think this has so much potential. Like, you can tell how much you have to offer. I think you can sculpt and deepen and explore this even more. That would show you to all the potential. That would be my take on it. Yeah.
Alrighty, thank you.
And then we have Steven, who's doing a character demo.
Day 612 in this godforsaken, my only company. You, judgmental cactus, sordid floorboard, and the unending fog, or a prophecy. You can keep that old ceremony. Just say the word, and I'll fight kingdoms for your heart.
Oh my! That was a serious breach of protocol. Humbly request additional cleaning supplies. There is quite a lot of, brain matter here, and you can never have too many handy wipes. You told me I couldn't hack it.
Okay, a lot to unpack in this one, which is great. Similar to the commercial demo, animation demos, and video game demos, the same. Our target is around that 60 seconds magic number. We can
go a little over.
We can go a little over, like we can push it to like a minute 10, somewhere in there.
Think leave them asking for more.
But a minute 41, there's clearly a lot. And we even heard some overlap clicking through where it was like, oh, that vocal print feels similar to this and whatever. Stephen, I would say similar note is, because it's labeled as a character demo, it's really unclear what these things are intended for and what types of scenes you're trying to create with these characters. It just feels kind of like a hodgepodge of slightly different vocal prints. For me, in how I listen to demos from an engineering standpoint, there's a lot of conflict in the production choices that are undermining some of your performances. So it might be the case where like having that doinky music underneath one of your kookier characters is actually betraying the context of where that kooky character might actually be. For example, like, if you were going for like an Invader Zim type vibe,
music's intense.
There's no doinky music in Invader Zim when we're talking about blowing brains out and whatever and doing all that kind of stuff. Like, so I feel like this is a perfect example of like a demo that was made in a vacuum by somebody who probably watches a lot of shows and things like that, but was not able to bring that knowledge into the demo itself. So it feels like the demo was just kind of made in this no man's land of, I don't know what this is, as opposed to like, my favorite show is Transformers Beast Wars. And, this is the way these shows sound and this is how they feel. And I'm going to craft a character that's authentically mine that lives within this universe or something like that. So just like the commercial demo, context really is important, and clarity is really important, especially if we're going to put forward something that's just called a character demo. It really needs to have a focus. And I think that's the big thing, is it's lacking a focus.
Yeah, I think when it comes to similar to what we talked about with some of the commercial demos, a lot of the scene work felt like it was trying to do a thing as opposed to being, as opposed to really feeling as that character. And so when it comes to character work, we need to, even though it's the voice and putting on the voices and doing all that stuff is really fun, we also need to believe that this character has feelings in a real place. That's why we fall in love with these characters. So it can't just feel like we're reading words in a character voice. I think there's a lot deeper we can go with a lot of this stuff. And like Ryan was saying, there was a lot of repetition with a lot of the voices and the scenes and things just from clicking through. So I think this could be way narrowed. And I think the focus, it could be a lot more focused.
Yeah, I think those were, like, in a nutshell, deeper, truer. Some of the things that I do here are passion. You love this, and I think there's a lot of potential. I think there's, again, a lot of potential here that keep on diving into that love. Like the first two characters were sort of had a slight variation of earnestness to them, but we could have one that's earnest and one that's deceitful, or something like something that's different. A lot of really, really good stuff. I think deeper and truer, and keep on. It's good. Yeah.
I agree. And then when if you decide to come back to this demo and you make a new demo with a demo producer, make sure who you choose is working in the industry, not just an actor. Because I think that's going to serve you a lot better. And that goes for anybody. Like when it comes to choosing a demo producer for any genre, whether it's commercial, narration, animation, video game, promo, whatever, when you're doing your research and reaching out to people, ask if they're working in that industry today. If they worked in animation 20 years ago, it's so different now, right? It's so different now. And same with commercials, same with everything. So always when you're doing your research, make sure who you choose to pay to work, to craft this demo with you, that they are working in the industry of the demo that you want to make with them. If they only work in commercial, do not go to them for character work. I don't care how lovely they are as a human. It's not going to help you, and you're burning your money. So that's my little soapbox. But I'm so sorry we didn't get to more character stuff.
But I feel like we did capture on like the big points of all character stuff. Is just like commercial, it needs to be like super focused, and that there is a difference between animation and video game stuff. And when you're sending this to casting directors or agents or out for potential jobs, it is important for you to know what you're doing in that regard. Like, is this an animation demo or is this a video game demo? And understanding what that means so that you're presenting yourself in a clear way to help your buyers. And also, like, we got a sense of how, even with character voices, how some things can feel really focused and really clear in our presentation, and how some things can feel really kind of jumbled and create confusion, just like we saw in the commercial demos as well. And at the core of it all, whether it's commercial, animation, video game, narration, promo, everything comes back to authenticity, right? And it's all about authenticity for you as a human, as an actor, as a person, as well as authenticity in terms of the production choices that get added in to your work to support your work in a meaningful way, right? And the sweet spot is where those things come together as a whole, and we get something that feels true for you, and it feels true for the clients that are being represented or for the style of game or the type of character, and it allows people in.
Because I'll tell you, especially working with game developers and animation executives, they don't have an imagination, right? They don't. Like you would think they do in a certain case, but they want to, if it's on your demo, they believe that's true for you. And so if something the acting isn't quite there, but you are a good actor, but the acting on your demo isn't quite there, they're not going to believe that you can do it. I don't know why. It's so weird. So just a little nugget.
Interesting. Yes. Okay. A little tiny poll. Do we have a lot of questions? If we have a lot of questions, maybe, you know what? We should not make a poll. We should just make a decision to do questions. I was going to say, would it be more valuable to listen to one more demo and then have less question time, and then we can all hop on and ask questions later? Or what do people like? What do you feel like would be most valuable? I don't know if we've been answering the questions that have been coming along.
Kelsey, do we have questions from what you've been seeing?
There's only a few questions.
Okay,
Great.
maybe we do one more and keep it tight, and then we'll open it up to questions.
Okay.
How does that sound? And then if you have other questions, then hop on our calendars and we can get the questions answered too.
Perfect. No, we'll do that. Yeah, because I can't stay late. I have a session to direct.
Yes. Okay, so let's listen to one more. I think McKenna's next. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm curious if we have let's see if we have a video game specific demo. If not, we do not. Okay, sure. Yeah, we'll do McKenna.
Oh, come on, Sadie, please take me with you. I'm an excellent adventurer, tough as butter and smooth as... wait.
Please do change your brother back, Reginald. He won't be able to finish his schoolwork as an aardvark.
Oh, don't panic. You're only exploring a monster-infested forest with no food, no compass, or... Oh, what was that?
Your shoes are about as tacky as the gum under my chair.
The soldiers that belong to the ISIS army have gathered here to represent the Lords of Everwinter.
I'll take 2 tacos and fries to go. Wait, this is a library? No problem. I could shoot a flea off a dog's nose since I was 4.
Yes, gather round. As Queen of Sucrose City, my proclamation is everyone must dip their toes in the lake of frosting.
Before you take it away, one thing that's like kind of a cool thing that everybody can play with and apply is it's typically helpful in a character demo to have something that's really close to your natural voice come first. That way it serves as a benchmark for all the crazy that comes next. So as we went through McKenna's demo, I was like, what is she actually like? Is the adult thing is the thing that she's like stretching out into, or is that who I would meet if McKenna walked into the room and like the younger sound is her stretch into, because it just helps casting to orient to you as a human, and then it makes it easier to digest all of the variety that comes. As a demo for me, I thought that we were missing a lot of scene work specifics, and that it was just a lot of kind of different voices back to back, which were interesting at times, but it was missing that sense of like movement and specificity. And I felt like the production was just different types of music underneath, which if we were to turn on any show in any genre, that is not what a show would sound like. It would not be voice and music. It would be so many other things and so many other layers to help build that level of authenticity. And I feel like that was really missing in this demo across the board, since it was just a different kind of music with a different voice.
So Tish, what did you think?
Well, I thought that this was like a really cool amount of range that I thought was authentic and listenable. I could see where you could go further in the scene work, although I felt like in each thing there was something that the character was doing up against. I think you could do more. I would say, I would say. Like add something that is a little bit more like neutral at the top and then have it contrast. It's not like, oh my gosh, not that, or there's something really wrong. I would say almost just like, what is a snip of like almost like natural so that you have it. I thought the little boy was fantastic. I thought the switch to the old lady was really good and clear. I was really clear. I could tell exactly what, like in Victoria's, there was a bunch of different kids, but it started getting blurry. Like, I don't know what it's different, but I'm not sure what it is. But I could say exactly, oh, and this is the fairy girl. And I thought there were efforts and stuff like that. And you added a laugh for a lot of the characters that was very authentic and not like, ho, 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 it's my evil laugh, right? It was very authentic and added to the character. Then there was a teenage girl. There was a heroic girl. I think the dude might be the most confusing. Like maybe take out the dude and put in the just natural, like more neutral McKenna. There was the Texas was fun, and I really loved that last kooky lady, maybe because I'm a kooky lady. But so I thought there was a lot of good things, and I could see where the things like how can you go even further and more. But I thought that was a pretty extraordinary range, and I think I mean I know McKenna's work, and I know McKenna that you come from a theatrical and musical background. I thought there was like that energy, but also like the next layer, that it wasn't just that. It wasn't just a musical theater performance, like it went deeper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought I totally hear what both of you are saying. Like, I agree with the production. Like, it felt like a demo, which is fine. And I like the range. I think we do need to hear who you are, even like an animated version of you, right? Like, what's your vibe as a human? And something that if you just walked into the room, how would I cast you as an animated character? So I think that will really showcase your range even more, because it's like, oh, that's where she's starting. Oh, wow. And so we can hear all these kiddos. If your goal is to go for Disney, little kids shows, Coco Melon, like things like that, home run with this demo.
I see what you're saying.
If you're interested in more of the teen adult stuff, like Owl House, Big Mouth, Adult Swim, Netflix animated series,
which your voice is perfect for,
even some of the Nickelodeon stuff, we're missing all of that stuff, because all of this stuff lives in very like the young kid, very young Disney. So if that's your goal, great, it's working. And if you want to show off other types of animation, that could be something to approach and change these voices and reads for, because every animation studio has their own vibe. Like if you're interested in WB stuff, like any of the superhero shows, I didn't hear any of that. So we want some of that tossed in as well, again, if that's a goal of yours. But great with the kiddo voices. That's
a cool perspective.
Yeah, and you feel like a youthful person. So I'm like, oh, maybe she's 18. Like, I'll buy that. Which, is always a good thing. So yeah, that is so really good stuff. I thought that was a successful animation demo. Again, if your goal is for little shows.
That's cool. That's good perspective. Well, hopefully that was helpful, guys. Let's breeze through as many questions as we can. Brittany, you have to roll. Does Ryan have to roll as well?
Yes, so we're going to have to roll in just a few minutes. But we can jump through a couple of questions real quick.
Let's jump through a couple of questions. I might be able to stay a little longer and answer as best I can. And then we'll look forward to having you guys join us, call and get some one-on-one time and ask whatever other questions. Okay, what are the questions, Kels?
Victoria is raising her hand.
Hello. Okay, I'm gonna try to go like really fast because I know we don't have a lot of time. Thank you guys so much for everything, your feedback, your knowledge, all that. So now that we've all gone through this process, some people don't have a demo, some just got like feedback on theirs. What should be like our steps if we can't like pay for a professional demo, or what do we do right now in order to get work or representation or get seen? Like, what do we do while we either don't have our demo or need to get it tweaked?
Get on our calendars and we can all help you with that specific question. It's going to be different for everybody, right? And it depends on what you're doing. Some people, it's just some actionable stuff you can do on your own to get you moving. And for other people, it's maybe jump into a class or things like that. So get on our calendars, Tish, and we would love to deal with each of your individual situations to help with that. Because yes, we want you all working and we don't want any of you spending money if you don't have to.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Of course. Look forward to chatting with you.
Cool. Who's next?
Steven.
Yay.
I'm going to let Joshua ask his first before you get to mine if there's time.
Okay.
All right, Joshua, you're up.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I'll make it quick. If you have booked work, is that okay on a commercial demo, or is exclusivity, conflicts, NDAs a thing? How do you navigate that?
No, great question. Everybody knows it's a demo, so this isn't about being anything other than that. So absolutely, you're welcome to use your work that you've booked on the demo.
As long as the commercial's out.
As long as the commercial's broadcast. As long as it's out there, like if I could Google it and watch it, then you're safe.
Great.
Okay.
And then I would just make sure, like, as always, your demo is not a resume. Your demo is a tool, right? So even when we start incorporating work that we've booked and we're so excited because it's like the real deal and we've done it, if it's still maybe not presenting you in the most accurate way, in the most authentic way, then, make that decision of whether or not to include it. Because as a casting director, you don't get bonus points for booking what's on your demo. All I care about is what comes out of the speakers. So just something to keep in mind, that like you don't get extra points for like I booked this one and this one and this one, and it's like, okay, cool, but your demo still doesn't make sense or whatever it is. So just keep that in mind, that it's not a resume, it's a tool.
So as long as it's serving you, but that's great. Hell yeah. Congrats on your booking.
Seriously, congratulations.
Cool.
If we lost him. I hope you heard that. The replay will be available.
We've got 1 minute. We've got 1 minute. Steven, what's your question? And we'll see if we can answer.
I mean, honestly, I'm just going to probably try to book it or book the call, and maybe we can work it from there. It had to do with revisiting a previously worked demo, but I think that's something we could probably talk about in 15 minutes thing.
Oh, yeah.
So, Brittany, love your voice work. Thank you for voicing in Gunvolt, Luminous Avenger X2.
Oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you. Oh, you're so sweet. Thank you.
All right, guys. Any other? I guess we're at 12 o'clock, so we should probably wrap up. But if you have other questions or other questions come up, because there's been so much that we've opened up to think about, hopefully this has been illuminating. Hopefully it's been helpful. Hopefully you're feeling calmer and understand the process a little bit more. Please get on our calendars. We want to spend time with you. We want to answer your questions and get you specifically honed in on. And thank you all for being here. Kelsey, thanks for keeping everything going and flowing. Brittany and Ryan, thanks for being here as our anchor and connection to fantastic demo work that's authentic and takes everybody into account, like where everybody's at, and creates a way to bring them to where they would like to be. So,
well, thanks for having us, Tish. We always love doing these things. And I mean, thanks to all of you for showing up and for tuning in, and for those of you who put in your demos, like, thank you so much for being our guinea pigs. Seriously, like, all of you are wonderful. And we hope today, if your demo is not working for you, you were able to grab some nuggets to help you move forward. And like Tish said, get on all of our calendars.
Yes, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah.
Chat
we
more.
can get even more specific.
Yeah.
All right,
Bye,
everyone.
guys. Thank you.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Thank you.